Welcome to How to Play Spooktacular, a game of movie monsters for 2 to 5 players ages 14 and up. In Spooktacular, players become one of 20 unique original movie monsters and escape the screen to terrorize the theater. Earn points as you spook and devour guests, clash with other monsters, and bring your movie to life. Only the most terrifying monster will emerge victorious. For this demonstration, we'll be covering a 4-player game. First, all players select a monster board. Each monster will come with one of 3 difficulty levels: easy, intermediate, advanced. Higher difficulty monsters can be best managed with players more familiar with the rules and experiences of the game. If this is your first time playing, choosing easy is recommended. Let's have your monster be Remover. Place the monster board in front of you. Then get a set of basic action cards plus any unique action cards your monster has. Shuffle the cards together to form a deck and place this next to your monster board. Then retrieve your monster's figurine and any related components. Next, place the board in the middle of the playing area. Some rooms will be locked and will not be used in a game. Look at the top right corner of each room to determine if it will have a lock. In our 4-player game, the bottom room will be locked. Next, each player will name their favorite horror movie. The player with the best movie called out will go first. Let's just say you named a very good and popular movie, so you'll be the first player. Take the score trackers, the police cars, and give yourself score tracker number 1, and the next player in turn order will get 2, and so on for reference. Place the other matching score trackers on the scoring tract, all on 10. Place the tickets face down and shuffle them. Take 2 for each player, keep them face down, and return the rest to the box. Next, place all the guests in the bag and populate the open rooms. Look at the number next to the door symbol in each room and place that many guests in the room -1. So a room with a 4 means you place only 3 on it. Finally, as the first player, you follow your monster's setup steps. Note each monster's setup can differ from each other. The Remover has the following steps. 1. Place the dumbbell on your starting space on the weight loss plan. 2. Place the Remover in any room. 3. Draw 3 cards. After each player in turn order follow their monster's board setup, the game is ready to begin. You are the first player, so take your turn. Take a look at your turn steps on your monster board. This is how your turn is played out. First step, play a card. You play Consume, which reads, devour a guest of each color. You take a total of 3 guests in your current room, 1 purple, 1 green, and 1 blue. Place these guests next to your board. You can get a bonus when you're able to collect 5 of each color in your devour pile in the form of a ticket. After resolving cards, place it in a discard pile next to your deck. Second step, do fifinal fitness is your monster's unique ability. Since the dumbbell is on top of the space that has no effect, it does nothing. Third part of your turn steps is advance 1 or 2 steps on the weight loss plan. You move it 2 spaces down the track. Fourth is move. When your monster figure moves, it will move into a connected room through the doorways. You must move if possible. Fifth, the final step. You draw back to 3 cards. Since you have 2 cards in your hand, you get to draw 1. Your turn steps are complete. Now it's the next player's turn. Next is Charles' turn. First, they play a card, Jump Scare, which lets them move their monster and then play another card from their hand. So they move up into the big room. Then they play Clown Car. First, it adds 3 guests. When adding guests, the player draws the number from the guest bag and adds those into the room where their monster is in. The next effect is spook, which is move, guess, and score. Charles also has the unique ability he spooks monsters, in which he spooks monsters as if they were guests. He gains points from them normally. To spook, first take a look at the number of doors in the room they are in. For each door, guests, and in this case other monsters as well, will move through to the connecting rooms. Charles moves the remover to the right and the killer car down to the smaller room. Then they move a guest through each of those doors. 7 figures have moved through the doorway, so Charles scores 7 points. On to their second step. If you spook this turn, devour all guests in your room. Charles did, and takes the last 4 guests in their room and devours them. Step 3, move. Charles moves up. Step 4, move another figure in your room. Let's take one of these guests and move it to the left. Finally, step 5, they draw back 2-3 cards. It's now the killer car's turn. First they play overdrive. They move and then play another card. Then they play get in. This is the killer car's unique ability, which allows them to pick up guests on the board and gain the matching effect. They pick up a purple guest and steal 2 points from the what lurks below monster, and the killer car moves up 2 points. Then they get to pick up another passenger. They pick the green guest, and does their board's effect, placing the car in any room. Then they move to the next room over to the left. Finally, they draw back up to 3 cards. Next is what lurks below. First they play jump scare. They move and play another card. Their next card, bump, moves a figure from a connected room into your room. They move the blue guest into their room. For their next card, they play consume and take all 4 guests in their room. They move, then on their last step, they draw back up to 3 cards. Back to your turn. You play jump scare and move the remover to the large center room. Then you play coaching, which does move a guest from each of the connected rooms into your room. Gain 1 point for figure move. That is 6 guests going to your room, so you get 6 points. Then you do weight loss plan. Add 2 guests and gain 2 points. You add the guest to your room. Next, you move the dumbbell 2 spaces. You move to the room below and draw back to 3 cards. Charles' turn is next. They play consume and pick up guests. Then they move to the room below. Then they move 1 purple guest through another room. Finally, they draw back up to 3 cards. The killer car goes and plays search and places 3 guests on their space. Then they play haunt and spook once and then spook again. That gives them 4 points. There are no guests to pick up, so they move and then draw. What lurks below goes and plays skittering, which moves them, then they get to draw a card. Then on their next step, they play emergence and devours 3 times. They take a red, a blue, and a green guest. Then they discard their hand. What lurks below now has a set of all 5 different guests. They turn it into the bag and collect a ticket. They keep it secret until the end of the game. Tickets give extra points, running from 4 to 8 points. Each time a set has been traded in, the player adds 3 guests to the room with the least amount. In the case where multiple rooms are tied, it is player's choice. What lurks below moves and then draws back to 3 cards. Just a quick note, if your deck is ever empty and you need to draw cards, simply take the cards in your discard pile, shuffle, and form a new deck. Once a player reaches or surpasses 50 points, or when the final ticket has been claimed, the ending of the game has been triggered. The current player and the remaining players complete their turns until all players have an equal number of turns. Then all players reveal any tickets that they have and add them to their points. The player with the most is the winner. If there is a tie, then the player with the most tickets wins the game. Then, if there is still a tie, then those tied players share the victory. This concludes the How to Play video to Spooktacular. For more information about this game and others, please visit level99games.com. Until next time, happy spooking.